morning. I want you to turn your attention to Songs of Solomon, 6th chapter. For those who are online, I want you to download this lesson. Sorry, Brother Lee, but our monitors are not working. We got spoiled, but that's what it is for this morning. Those who are online, I'm taking you to our website. Thank you for a grand celebration on last week. I appreciate all of you. We had a glorious day. Most beautiful bride. That's our download for the morning. You can join us on YouTube if you like. If you want to see what we are showing on YouTube. Songs of Solomon, the 6th chapter, verses 4 through 12. Hear ye what thus saith the Lord. I want you to look at what this text today is offering us in terms of love. I asked the 8 o'clock morning service to look at the women in their lives. We're talking about love. We're talking about adoration, and we're talking about romantic relationships. This is the book in the Bible, one of the books in the Bible that focuses specifically on romantic relationships. It is focusing on inner beauty and physical beauty. I want you to know that as we look at this text, not only is it focusing on inner beauty and physical beauty, but it is also talking about beauty inside and out. Beauty inside and out. They say the beauty is oftentimes in the eye of the beholder, but I like that this lesson speaks of what we like to call a player. And this, in focus, it talks about this woman who was discouraged because she was falling for a brother who was a player. You know anything about that, Brother Lee? Anyway, that is, I stopped by to tell somebody thank you that love is not a plaything. It's not a plaything. Amen? Real love is not a plaything. I want you to see that true love is expressive and unashamed. It is expressive. You're not hiding true love, and it is unashamed. You ought not be ashamed about that which you love. The focus verse is, my dove, my undefiled, is but one. She is only the only one of her mother. She is the choice of her that bare her. The daughters saw her and blessed her. Yea, the queens, the concubines, they praised her. I want you to know today that we are talking about queens. We are talking about concubines. And we are talking about virgins. If you see that text, you'll see what I'm saying. I highlighted verse 8. There are queens, there are concubines, and there are virgins. They are not the same. I want you to know in a very short order that a queen has a king. Not only does a queen have a king, but a queen has a queendom. All women do not have a king nor a queendom, nor a kingdom to share with. Concubines are women who are brought into the marriage by the wife for the purpose of childbearing. Virgins are women who are faithful in mind, in heart, and in the loins, if you understand what I'm saying. I want you to note that there is a word used in this text, and that word is the word comely and beautiful. Notice that it says, thou art beautiful and thou art comely. I want you to note that there is a focus on overcoming. And I want somebody to know, especially for men, that one of the most important, in fact, the most important decision you will make is the woman that you choose in your life. It talks about their teeth. This is a very physical and direct text. This is a romantic story, bearing twins, the teeth thereof. I want you to note that it pays attention to their temples within their locks. It's examining the beauty of a woman, her outward beauty, in great detail. It makes the difference between the concubines, the queens, and the virgins. I'm going to say not only are they different, but they look different. A concubine looks different than a queen. Lord have mercy. All women are not the same. I want us to highlight, when we look at the women in our life, verse 9 says, it describes the women in your life as the undefiled. My undefiled is but one. There's only one, undefiled. You need to understand what that means to you in your life and look at the women in your life, the queens, the concubines, and the women that you praise. The women that you praise. Finally, in verse 10, it talks about how who is she that looketh forth to the morning, clear as the sun, terrible as an army with banners, a beautiful, a good woman, a woman who is beautiful inside and out will move you. She will move you like a terrible army with banners. Imagine an army that is not carrying guns but is carrying banners. That is how a beautiful woman moves men and women. Some women are so beautiful that even women must stop and comment on her beauty. Verse 11 says, I was moved by this army. I went down into the garden of the nuts to see the fruits of the valley and to see whether the vine flourished and the pomegranates budded. Now, if you don't understand that verse, I ain't even going to try to help you. But he says, I went down into the garden of the nuts to see the fruits of the valley and to see whether or not the vine flourished and the pomegranate budded. Understand the symbolism. Number 12, this is a romantic story. It's a love story. Finally, verse 12 says, or if I ever was aware, my soul, love affects your soul, made me like the chariots of Aminadab. Love will affect your soul. If someone loves you, they are indeed a lover of your soul. I'm moving forward in this lesson, and I want us to get to the people and the places, and I want us to move our minds to childbearing, the importance of childbearing. Men cannot bear children. Should I say that again? Men cannot bear children. In 2023, I should also add that 2 women cannot bear children and 2 men cannot bear children. Am I being fair? Oh yeah, I'm being fair, because there are folk out here that think that they can. Women bear children with men. That's the way it is. That's the way it's going to be. And that's just, you got to deal with that. If that is a problem for you, then I can't help you. Lord have mercy. There is a presence in this story, as it talks about the city of Tisra, of concubines, and there is a presence of polygamy. If you are anti-polygamy, which most people in this era claim to be, then you're going to have to deal with the presence of polygamy throughout the Old Testament, the First Testament, the First Covenant. You're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to come to grips with an understanding of why polygamy existed and how it affects your faith walk. And I'm just going to leave that there. But I will say that one of the results of polygamy and polygamous relationships is jealousy and resentment. There is jealousy and resentment among the wives, and oftentimes there is even more generational jealousy and resentment among the children. And we see that being manifest right here, right now, in Gaza and Palestine. Those are the children of Hagar and Sarah, still fighting. Lord, have mercy. When we consider the total devotion to one woman, we can easily compare the pros and the cons. There are pros and there are cons, but the only reason to get married in any form or fashion is to please God. That is the only reason, to please God. Now, on a temporal level, in terms of transfer of wealth, that is an earthly reason and a temporal reason to get married. It's a good reason, and it's a reason that has made many a marriage, many a nation has been united via marriage. And so we understand that that is a transfer of wealth, power, authority, and position. I'm praying for the people who get married and they are not interested in pleasing God, and they are not interested in the transfer of wealth. Those are the people that puzzle me, and they come in multitudes. When we move to the next part of this people places, it talks about the rights of the concubine or the second wife. If you ask most women today in this modern era if they would agree to a polygamous situation or a second wife, they will tell you something of the form that not only do they not agree, but they are not going to share. Well, it comes down, at least in this case, to legacy. And I'm interested in the fact that these women did not consider concubines to be a threat. That has always puzzled me, how they would not only allow these women to come into their house, but come in and to be with their husbands and to bear children. But they considered the concubine's children and the concubine to be a part of their legacy. So the concubine had no legacy, she had no rights, she had no authority save that which was given to her by the wife or the queen. That's something to think about. Childbearing has taken on a different meaning in modern times. Childbearing in these times where these writings take place was critical to the identity of who a woman was and is. Today, that has changed. We might need to ask ourselves, why has that changed? And we also need to look at asking ourselves about the condition of our children today. There are certain roles that women play in the family, and they're not playing. They're very serious roles. I want to say, in terms of just pointing out some of the differences between women as we look through this background, I want to say that good women stand out. Good women stand out. I want to say that all women are not the same. I want to say that women make life choices. And when a woman chooses, it appears, at least in modern times, that it is different when a man chooses. It is puzzling and troubling to me today that we feel that we can choose for a season. We are not choosing for a lifetime, it seems like, anymore. We will choose a mate, a wife, even have children with them, and in our minds we feel like we are just going to be with them for a season, or we can end that relationship and move right into another one with seemingly no issue. That is troubling for me as a theologian. It's troubling for me as a person of the book, because it is not the nature of God to end significant relationships and begin an identical relationship with someone else. It is not. God's nature is long term. God's nature is so long term that his relationships are eternal. When we begin to look at how God has put this thing together, we should understand this concept of unity and harmony and longevity in a different way. But note that people are moving away from the church. They're moving away from Bible study, and they are moving away from morality and ethics and ethical living. They're moving away from discreet living, and it is affecting our societies and our marriages and so forth. Childbearing, relation to women, relation to men. Women are different, but good women still stand out because it is like cream. It rises to the top. The text talks about Jewish scholars interpreting the allegorical meaning of God's fierce love for Israel. We need know that this story in Songs of Solomon is about God loving Israel, and God is comparing Israel to a woman and a man's love for her and all that he sees in her. We need to be aware that God sees something in us. What is man that thou art mindful of him, that thou visiteth with him? I want you to notice when you compare man and woman with God and the church, I want you to consider how beautiful women can be in a moment and how, I'm going to say, ugly they can be at the same time. I often think about black folks and how wonderful we are with our talents, our gifts, the way we think, the way we create. But at the very same time, we can be just awful. Incestuous, fornication, lying, stealing, substance abuse. And somehow we can be beautiful and ugly at the same time. The definition of being double-minded or blessed and cursed is cursed. If you are in a situation where it is good and bad, it is cursed. I take that from Deuteronomy 28, where it gives you a very short and concise definition of what it means to be blessed. But then there's a long litany of things that talk about what it means to be cursed. It goes 54 verses. And I'm trying to tell you that anything that has a double-mindedness to it is cursed. God is about single-mindedness. God just wants to bless us. God doesn't want to bless us and punish us. God just wants us to have good things. And until you believe that, you may not have good things. You may continue to experience periods of ups and downs. I want somebody to know that God can keep you up. God can sustain you. God can provide for you. God can do that indefinitely. It is us that causes the interruption in the flow of God's blessing. It is us. It is not God. God is able. This text wants to talk to you about a soul. And I want us to hear me when I say that a soul is your mind, it is your will, and it is your emotion. It is your mind, it is your will, it is your emotion. Your mind must be right for your soul to be right. Your will, your intention, your purpose must be right for your soul to be right. Your emotions have to be in order for your soul to be right. I'm not talking about your spirit. I'm talking about your soul. Your spirit is connected to your heart, your subconscious. I'm talking about your soul. And in this text, it makes a connection between the importance of love and the condition and the effectiveness of your soul. When your soul hurts, a lot of people think that that is a sign of loneliness. I cannot disagree. I will say this, and this is me talking. All single men are looking for a wife. There may be people that would disagree. All single men are looking for a wife. I'm going to say it one more time. All single men are looking for a wife. There is no shortage of men that are looking for a good woman. I'm going further. I'm doubling down. All single women are looking for a husband. Now, you can stop women and they'll say, oh, I ain't took a look for no husband. But as soon as something comes by that look good, they start primping and putting things together, even though they're not looking for a husband. And you let a good man come in the room, everybody sits up, the young and the old. All single women are looking for a husband. I'm doubling down again. No one is looking forward to being alone. No one. No one. Even the Bible tells you it is not good for man or woman to be alone. I'm doubling down even further. I'm not letting up. Your misery is not the answer to anybody else's loneliness. Woo! I sure hope y'all hear me. Your misery, your miserable life is not the answer to somebody else's loneliness. Why would Pastor say that? I'm saying that because if you can't find happiness inside yourself, you certainly aren't going to find happiness with somebody else. All you're going to do is make two people miserable. This text tells you to find your inner beauty. Find yourself, love. Find out how to love yourself and to love God. That's where love begins. That's where love begins. And when you get that together, you'll be ready to read Song 6:6, which tells you now take a look at women and see how wonderfully they are made. I should note, because we're living in that age, that this text does not tell men to look at men. Look at all of the detail that this text goes into to describe the physical attributes of a woman. There's no biblical precedent, even though they will tell you there is, for homosexuality. Men among men or women among women. It is a perversion. It is a demon possession. It is a mental illness. It is not normal. It is not normative. I'm not trying to win a popularity contest. So, deal with it. I want you to hear me when I say that you ought to find your inner beauty. Love yourself, love God. Your blessing from God will be attracted to you. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more at 11. Your blessing will be attracted to you. I'm playing on the word attractive. Your blessing will be attracted to you. You don't have to chase anything in this life. You don't have to chase money, fame, fortune, companionship. You shine your diamond. You polish your diamond. You be the best that you can be, and you will attract what you are. You will attract your blessing. If you want to attract better, do better. Dress better. Work out. Take better care of yourself. Brush your teeth. Comb your hair. Get your shoes together. You want better? Do better, because everybody wants better. And you will be attracted to those who think you are better. Everybody wants somebody better than them. That's terrible. True. The song says, I can do bad all by myself. They will come. They will come. They will come. They will come. You go to the gym, you change your hairdresser, you start doing your nails. I'm talking about men and women. You step up your game, as they say in the vernacular today. You get your paper up, and you'll start attracting a better crowd. You keep doing the same thing, you keep attracting the same thing. Become more attractive spiritually. Become more attractive spiritually. If I go to a public place, I guarantee you that I will hear a black woman complaining about something out loud to everybody. If I go down the street right now to Mark's or the gas station, and if there's a black woman in that store, she is going to have a negative attitude, and she is going to express that to everybody that she possibly can. Brother Lee, you better stop talking about them black sisters. I guarantee you, you can go to the airport, you can go anywhere. If there's 5 black women in there, I guarantee you one of them is expressing her dissatisfaction about something out loud to everybody. Isn't that a shame? Because y'all know I'm telling the truth. And more times than not, it is an unattractive woman. In there in her house shoes, her pajamas, belly hanging out, hair wrapped up. I'm sorry. I'm on one this morning. Pray for me. Be more attractive spiritually. What is more pleasing to men and women than a very attractive, dignified, graceful woman who says an encouraging word? It's attractive. It makes you want to be a better man or better woman. I'm saying to somebody today, based on this text, number 2 says convinced by beauty. That's what I'm talking about. A beautiful woman will convince you. A really beautiful woman will convince a man to start thinking, Brother Lee, what do I need to do to get one of them? Huh? A beautiful woman will inspire a man to do things beyond his capacity. They'll say, how did he do that? But when they see that beautiful woman, they don't ask no more questions. I'm talking about a real beautiful woman. I ain't just talking about one who look good on the outside. I'm talking about one who is beautiful on the inside too. She'll get a brother right. God gives to you those that, no. I want you to begin thinking positive and feeling. I need you not only to think, but when you pray, I need you to feel it. Because when you feel it, God's going to answer it. When you feel the answer to your prayer, you feel the intensity of your desire, you feel the manifestation, you feel that blessing. When you feel it, it's in your subconscious. You've talked about it, you've thought about it, you've prayed about it, You've went through a process of repetition, and now it has become a part of your DNA spiritually and physically. When you can finally feel it, God's going to answer it. He's going to answer it. He's going to answer it. You've experienced this already. You've experienced it. You just didn't know what you were doing. You've experienced feeling something, and God gave it to you. I can almost taste it. Oh, taste and see how good he is. When you become a thinker and a feeler, God gives to those that he can feel. I'm saying to you, I'm making a relationship between God and the church. I'm making a relationship between man and woman. I'm making a connection between God and how God feels you. If God can feel you, God will answer your prayers. Just like if you can feel a person. There's some folk that will call you with a request, and by your response, you let them know, I ain't feeling you. I'm not feeling you. I don't even want to hear your voice. And you may get a call 3 minutes later from somebody who may make the same request. And you say, okay, well, no problem. Let me work it out. Let me get it. That's because you're feeling that person. God wants to feel you. The question becomes, when God feels you, what does he feel? Does he feel disgust, or does he feel adoration? And that feeling will be based upon your life. All of this from this love ballad in Songs of Solomon. God gives to those, once God feels you, God will give to you. God will open up his wallet for you. God will open up the doors of heaven to those who he feels like opening up the doors of heaven to. This is about God's feelings. That's why we get in trouble as men, because we are not as attached or in touch with our feelings. We know when we feel bad, and we know that we have a problem expressing our feelings, but it doesn't mean we don't have feelings. And that is why I am suggesting today that a real man is a man who God can feel. Lord have mercy. Y'all get that? I like that. God is thought and feeling. 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 What are you thinking about? What are you feeling? That's what God interprets. Therefore, you ought to keep your thoughts positive and in relationship to the will of God. And you ought to constantly be checking yourself to say, like James Brown, I feel good. Even when I don't feel good, I feel good. Even when it is not a good situation, I feel good. I think the songwriter says, hallelujah, anyhow. It's going to be all right. What the devil meant for bad, God meant for good. I've always wanted a theme song. I like to be up. I like to get up and everybody know what my song is. I like for it to be playing when I get up to preach. I want to think, Brother Lee, could I have a theme song? Good, thank you. Because now that Brother Lee has given me permission to get a theme song, I'm going to tell y'all what I want my theme song to be. I went to the Claremont School of Theology, located in Claremont, California. For those who are educators, you know about the Claremont schools. I don't have to tell you about the reputation of the Claremont schools. That is where God allowed for me to get my seminary education, which I am very grateful for. Not only is it a great education, an excellent education, but it is an excellent place to live and go to school. If anybody has heard of the Big Bear Mountain in California, our campus is not far from the base of the Big Bear Mountain. You can sit in the middle of our campus on that huge lawn and pray, study, meditate while looking up at the Big Bear Mountain. And everybody knows that even though it might be 70, 80 degrees down where you are, up on top of that mountain. It is snowing. It's a beautiful thing. But I want you to know that on my drive from Los Angeles, South Central LA to Claremont, California, every day I drove 35 miles one way, 35 miles back home. Every day I played my theme music. And my theme music featured none other than Flavor Flav and Fight the Power. And I fought the power all the way, all the way to Claremont campus. And when I get in myself, I get my stuff together, when I get up to preach, y'all gonna hear Fight the Power. I'm letting you know that now. That is my theme song. But let me end this time together with this this point. The Search of Scriptures asks, what are the two cities does a king compare to the beauty of his bride? I'm going to change that question, and I'm going to ask you, what can you compare to the most beautiful woman in your life? What compares to the most beautiful woman in your life? Is that your wife? Is that your sister? Is that your mother? Is that your aunt? Is that your friend? Is that your cousin? Who is the most beautiful woman in your life, living or has gone on to glory? I ask you this question because if that woman was beautiful, that woman tried to bring unity and harmony in your life. Think about it. The entire world that we live in is based on division and chaos. And if that woman was beautiful, she used her gifts to bring about blessing, unity, and harmony in your mind, in your heart, and in your emotion. You may not have realized that, but we're all one. We're all one. We'll come back to this at 11 o'clock. But harmony fights a house divided. You all already know who the most beautiful woman in my life was. That woman did everything in her power to make sure that the house was unified and in harmony. She was not always successful, but she tried. We didn't eat dinner until everybody got home because in her mind, a family that eats together stays together. Y'all don't hear me. Because at the table, not only did we talk, we prayed. We shared our dreams. We complimented one another. We encouraged one another. A family that eats together stays together. The most beautiful woman in your life, unbeknownst to you, tried to remove all division and chaos from your life. She made a declaration. She made it clear that change begins in you. She was a lover of good words. She tried to portray no image of division. Everything will work out. She always made you feel, I got a feeling everything's gonna be all right. The beauty and the most beautiful thing in this world is unity. The most beautiful thing in this world is harmony. When we all get together, what a day of rejoicing it will be. The reason why women are beautiful, not just because of their outward appearance. It is not just their inner appearance. The reason why women are beautiful is because they accept no division of any kind. They only honor harmony, unity, faithfulness, and single-mindedness. And over the course of years, it makes them an everlasting beauty. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, no doubt about it. And when you see a good woman, there may be some that might not think that she is aesthetically beautiful. But one of the most beautiful women that I've ever seen in my life wore glasses that were as thick as pop bottles. She had hands that were all crinkled up with rheumatoid arthritis. She couldn't walk. Her knees and her feet were deformed. She wore the big shoes. But oh, her voice was sweet. Her hands were soft. Her words were gentle. She never spoke above a whisper. And she always had an encouraging word. No matter whether it was financial issue, death, relationship breakup, she was one of the most beautiful women that I have ever seen or encountered in my life. Now that I think about it, there's a few women that look just like her, and they were beautiful too. It takes a man. It takes a man who knows the Lord to appreciate real beauty. If a man doesn't know the Lord, if he can't appreciate the Lord, if he can't pray to the Lord and get an answer, the windows of heaven never open up at his presence, then he is not a man. He is merely a boy in training. Beauty will make a boy a man. That's what the Songs of Solomon is trying to let you know. To God be the glory for the things that he has done. I want to ask you to take a break and rejoin us at the 11 o'clock hour. I want to thank Brother and Sister McKinney and Sister McKinney and Brother Lee for serving 74 breakfasts this morning to the homeless at the shelter. Thank God for you. And we're going to keep our transportation piece on prayer. I guess I have to just stick to the plan. We have to buy us a bus, and we got to do that. That's what we need to do. We don't need to rent anything else. We need to buy us some transportation, and we're going to do that in short order. So thanks be to God. Love you all. We'll see you at 11 o'clock. Thank you.